We got this from Deadline. Donald Trump takes a dig at Tucker Carlson after former Fox News host criticizes POTUS's Iran policy and his old employer for war propaganda. The split is here, and Tucker is he's one of the most prominent voices. Now, when Trump was asked about it, he said, I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen. Shockingly bad play, in my opinion. If Trump, I can't imagine Trump is unaware of the changing media landscape. And to imply that Tucker Carlson, because he's not on Fox News getting 500,000 key demo viewers, his voice is not relevant anymore, is maybe just Trump trying to dig at Tucker and say, ha, you lost your job. But in terms of a dig at Tucker, telling him to be on TV when TV's dead, does Trump not realize?
Well, Trump is in his 80s, but I think,
almost, right? Oh, no, as
79.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, he
turned 80.
Yeah. He turned 80.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was yesterday.
Saturday. That's the birthday. Yeah.
And he does. I like the president, but he's got some serious boomer energy. I think that's,
This is the president that used the podcast network to help get elected.
So this is such a good point.
Like he understands TV's dead.
I think the fact of the matter is he just doesn't care what Tucker thinks. And so he's going to go after him. It's not about Tucker and a news network. It's about saying, like, you're not the president. And I think we're going to hear a lot of you're not the president in the next couple of days. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I think could be relevant is that Israel usually fights short wars. They don't tend to drag on for a long time. So if the U.S. can stay out of it or just be like, I don't know, be as minimally involved as possible, not taking strikes on Iran, then we do have a chance that Israel just ends it quickly because that is their history.
Well, I mean, this is the Israeli narrative on this has been all over the map. They initiated this new war because the clock was running out and Iran was going to get a bomb tomorrow. They started this war 3 years ago against Iran and its proxies. They started this war 30 years ago with Iran and its proxies.
Right.
Yeah, I want to return to something Shane said, though, with this alternative podcast network, and the reason that President Donald Trump won was because, in part, of this media strategy. And I think a lot of people have heard it's the long form, authentic conversation style, bro. That's what's doing it for people. And I love coming on this show, and I can say that that's certainly true. But the other thing that no one wants to talk about, the reason why the alternative media podcast strategy had to be the play is because of the failures of the right-wing media. Mm-hmm. Failures of the right-wing media. It's not structured to be something that actually shifts the Overton window.
Yep.
The ad revenue model is failing. We do journalism and man on the street. All we got out of 10 years, 15 years of digital journalism on the right was maybe a few smackdowns with respect to the Obama IRS scandal. We got a filibuster from Ted Cruz about Obamacare. We got a failure in Obama repeal. Mm-hmm. We got a tax cut. And we didn't get our troops out of any of the places that the American people wanted them out of. And so where did Trump have to go? He had to go to Joe Rogan. He had to go to these other podcast networks because the right-wing media is not built to win or manage a coalition. It's just not.
Yep. The interesting thing is, on Fox News all day, it's Iran. Israel, Iran. When Israel launched its strikes on Iran, the first thing, Fox and Friends had Mark Levin on in the morning. Now, he's a Sunday night guy, I think, right? Sunday night?
Yeah, I think so.
And he was passionately, I'll be nice, but angrily and passionately saying, we must support Israel in this effort. This is America first. How dare they call me neocon? We have to support our ally and things like this. This is going to be interesting. Trump versus Tucker, the coalition splitting. The left comes back. I don't know what happens because now we're at a point where, man, I don't want the U.S. to be involved in a war in Iran because a war in Iran is not Iraq and Afghanistan. Like you mentioned earlier, it's massive. We're talking about the U.S. dumping hundreds of billions into Ukraine. And for the U.S. to be involved in Iran, it's going to be hundreds of billions more and hundreds of billions more than we've already given to Ukraine. This is going to rock the U.S. economy in devastating ways. Like the inflation is going to be ridiculous.
A lot of companies are going to make a lot of money. Silicon Valley is very happy.
It reminds me, I got to get my military industrial complex stocks.
Better look at that. Maybe
Yeah,
buy into Anduril while you're at it.
What should I get?
Anduril, probably, because they're making the killer robots.
Anduril's not publicly traded.
Palmer
yet,
Lucky.
What about Lockheed? Is Lockheed trading?
You should look it up. Maybe Lockheed.
Lockheed Martin.
Meta is
Clearview is going to be doing a thing. All these places.
Lockheed is down 4% for the day, but the overnight's up 2.13.
Yeah. They're salivating for this because they're the new corporations like we had during FDR with JP Morgan and DuPont.
I'd say Boeing, but
I mean,
actually they're up today.
How? They keep falling out of the sky.
Northrop
could be useful in turn.
Yes.
For
Okay.
a war.
Okay.
Boeing kamikazes.
Yeah, we're gonna recycle these things.
Northrop Grumman was down 3.75 for the day, but now in the overnights it's shot straight. Dude, I love this. Go open up your stock ticker, whatever app you're using. The moment Trump says evacuate now, the military industrial complex stocks jump like 1 or 2%.
Look up what Nancy Pelosi's buying right now.
Remember,
quiver quantitative on next.
Remember when we pulled out of Afghanistan in 2021, as disastrous as it was? How long was it till we got involved in Ukraine?
Dude, we've been at war my whole life, right?
direct
We've
flights
been in
from
wars.
Afghanistan to Ukraine. Straight there.
Interestingly, when we were getting out of Afghanistan, there were military reports that we were shifting weapons production for a Pacific theater war. And so the speculation from everybody was that we were about to get into a conflict with China. We were moving away from desert conflict into naval conflict, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
If we get involved with Iran, why would China not be like Taiwan's ours?
Yep.
Of course they will. And we're already moving assets, all right? Like the Nimitz and stuff, we're already moving assets away from that region.
Yep.
And what did China do in the past 24 hours? Oh, Iran, Israel is dominating your skies. They've destroyed quite a lot of your missile systems. Nevertheless, you have large missile stockpiles. But if this rapid pace continues, then, hey, you might run out of these by July, mid-July or whatever. Okay, well, here's another 1,000 missiles for you. Here's more drones for you.
Oh, Jennifer.
China has absolutely the interest of getting us bogged down in a quagmire, just like we bogged down the Soviet Union in Afghanistan.
And just a half an hour ago, China called for the evacuation of its citizens from Israel.
Yeah.
Or it was reported.
Libby, what were you going to say?
Jennifer Jacobs from CBS just posted. Is she CBS? Yeah, CBS. She just posted, U.S. is not joining Israel offensively in its military operation per U.S. officials, despite reports that President Trump asked the NSC and Situation Room to be readied. I'm told NSC cabinet members are already on standby 24 hours a day, including since Israel's Operation Rising Line began. So,
Yeah,
Mike Waltz is in that room.
They're going to deploy forces to protect the Strait of Hormuz. And then I'm going to say it because I'm hoping it don't happen, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. There will be an attack on U.S. forces in the region. Trump will say it's unacceptable. We are simply maintaining trade routes. We can't stand for this. And then you get a war. Gulf of Tonkin. The U.S. claimed we were attacked. We weren't. We got involved in the war. It's a lot harder to do in the social media era because people have videos, but the president says it. Mm-hmm. His top line supporters are going to say Trump is right.
Yeah.
Roll.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
I mean, and the other thing I'll mention too is you look at the assassination attempt on Trump. And then Dan Bongino and Kash Patel get in, they say there's no there there. Mm-hmm. And nobody, that is completely illogical and makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like double lightning strike, double lottery winning all at the same time for that story to happen. My point is that even if the U.S. does engage in some kind of false flag to, muster up public support, you'll never get the answers even in the digital age.
Right. We have our guys, the podcast guys are in there right now talking about conspiracies for the last few years and no answers. The Thomas Matthews Crook story, I mean, that guy might as well have been 3D printed in some laboratory. It makes no sense.
So weird.
I'll mention this too. It is obvious why Netanyahu wanted to have a meeting with a bunch of top media personalities and podcasters. The whole conversation was Iran is going to get a nuclear weapon and they're going to come for you. And no, they're not. They're not going to create an ICBM and then fire at the United States. But if you look at things like that, it's pretty obvious what the intent was and where they want us all to go. Yep. They want shows like this. That's why I said I wonder how long a show like this can exist. If the machine state says we're going to war, if Trump is even on board and says we're going to war, and then we're sitting here being like, nah.
Yeah.
What happens?
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
DDoS attacks every night for you.
It feels like he's struggle sessioning America into the war. And then all those people, there's probably other influencers there, maybe like TPUSA types or PragerU types who are like using the safe and effective argument for war now. Like, we got to go do it now. It's a preemptive thing. I'm like, this doesn't work. This is the pattern of war has been going on my whole life. Since my great grandparents were in this country's been at war. Haven't even declared it officially since World War II. So I just oppose this, and I really hope Trump is in charge enough and not having all these horrible people in his ear, dragging us into this horrible war.
Hold on. I'm seeing a tweet from Trump. He says, actually, war is good. You know, now that I think about it, I agree with the president. War is good. And, you know, you guys are crazy. I like war.
Now that you say it like
Don't scare me like that.
Tim's making a very good point.
Trump did not tweet war is actually good.
No.
Can I send you something?
That sounded
I
like
think
fake
that
news.
meeting with Netanyahu is really, really important. The podcaster meeting. So this is from Pew Research, and it's views of Israel from 2022.
I search for it. How do I search for it?
So search Pew Research, how Americans view Israel and the Israel-Hamas war at the start of Trump's second term. It's an article by Laura Silver.
What's the date?
It's April 8th, 2025, but I think it was listed on SEO as, it's April 8th, 2025.
Got it.
So scroll down until you see a graphic about party and age breakdown and their favorability views of Israel. Keep going further. It's going to be a dot graph.
This thing?
Now down further, it's all blue. So this right here. So this is why you want to have a meeting like that. Look at U.S. adults, lean Republican, ages.
Negative views of Israel have risen in the U.S. from 2022 among all U.S. adults from 42 to 53%.
Okay, now look at ages 18 to 49.
62 to 71.
Yeah, but, you know, they're just...
That's on Dem, lean Dem. Above that,
Anti-Semitic Gen
Republican,
Zers.
lean Republican, 18 to 49.
35 to 50. It's jumped 50 points towards the negative.
15 points in the
That's
last
also-
3
I
years
mean-
over the
15,
course of
sorry.
the war.
That's also the generation that hasn't been taught anything about the Holocaust or like the actual nature.
I mean, come
of-
on. We're like
but-
lectured
but
about the
hold on,
Holocaust
but-
every day.
wait,
It's
wait, wait,
literally
wait.
the only
No,
justification.
hold on.
we
That
have to
matter.
get us in the
This
Doesn't
is
matter.
publication.
Doesn't-
This is publication
doesn't
of
matter.
textbooks that have been driven by Arab
none of this matters.
philanthropic money. I'm
The
just
point
saying,
is, the point he's bringing up
they have
is-
been conditioned
Right,
to
we get
hate
it.
Israel already.
The point he's
Since
bringing up is
2022 to 2025, all the textbooks changed, and we don't talk about the Holocaust enough.
No, I'm not saying that we didn't. That's not what I said. But after 9/11, there was a huge surge of Arab philanthropic money going into textbooks.
But that doesn't explain why an 18-year-old in 2022 who in 2025 is only 21 and the whole sentiment across the entire demo shifted 15 points negative.
I'm just throwing out everything.
But the
that there
point
is.
he
That's
brought
all.
up is that
adding to it.
Netanyahu wants to have a meeting because they can see exactly this happening.
Sure.
But I don't think that's why he had the meeting. The meeting was literally just Iran's getting a nuke. You have to go to war. You have to. And everybody groaning and being like, nah. There were a handful of people that were like, yeah. But most people were like, nah. The Trump base, the American populist coalition on the right does not want to be involved in this war.
I
don't know what the
why-
left wants.
Well, the left wants to eradicate Israel along with Hamas and the Houthis and everybody.
So they're going to
else.
be against it as well.
Yeah, they're against it as well. I mean, I think the thing is that Israel is a very strong country and they can pretty much take care of themselves. And it's up to Trump if he wants to, give them the bunker busters, which I don't know enough about what they're facing to know if that's really what I know. They believe that that's necessary, but I do think that I do think it's better when the U.S. is supporting allies and not actually engaging in war.
We have a correction. Trump is 79, not 80. He just turned
okay.
79.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.